Every once in a while, certain songs come along in country music that don't just become hits, but take on a kind of timeless appeal. Always on My Mind has, over the years, scored big for a varied assortment of performers. Brenda Lee charted a country version of it first, in 1972. Then the following year, another country version appeared by the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley. His rendition was the song's first significant chart entry, peaking at number 16, as the B-side to Separate Ways. John Wesley Riles, whose biggest hit had been his classic recording of Hank Mills' K in 1969, nudged the top 20 with Always on My Mind in 1979. 3 years later, the blockbuster version by Willie Nelson topped Billboard's country chart and reached number 5 on the pop listings, achieving Song of the Year and Single of the Year honors from the Country Music Association, a Grammy Award for Nelson, 2 Grammys, Song of the Year and Best Country Song for co-writers Wayne Carson, Johnny Christopher and Mark James, and 2 ACM Trophies. Always on My Mind wasn't done yet, though. In 1988, the British new wave group, the Pet Shop Boys, rocketed into the top 5 of the Billboard Hot 100 with another huge rendition of the song. All songwriters have different methods in which they come up with their compositions. In Wayne Carson's case, he would develop the chord structure and melody first. He reasoned that if the melody was singable, the words wouldn't be that far away. In his mind, a song is just a story set to music, and what made Always on My Mind so magical and successful was that virtually everyone on the planet had been there. The song touched base with all who heard it. Wayne wrote 2 verses to Always on My Mind at his home in Springfield, Missouri, while commuting to Memphis as a session guitar player. He also was cutting some sides for the Tiny Mongoose label, a branch of Fred Foster's Monument Records in Nashville. One day at a session, Carson showed Always on My Mind to his producer, longtime friend Chips Moman, who said, "Wayne, I think this song needs a bridge." Carson had purposely written it without a bridge because he didn't think it needed one. Moman suggested that Wayne go upstairs to his office, using the piano in there, and try to develop a bridge for Always on My Mind. While Carson was up there working on it, guitarist Johnny Christopher came wandering in, and noticing that Wayne was having difficulty, asked him if he needed a little help. Carson gratefully accepted the assistance. Then in walked Mark James, the composer of Elvis Presley's 1969 pop mega hit Suspicious Minds. James was there to pick up his mail at the publishing company, which was next door to the studio, and he asked, "What are you guys doing?" Wayne said, "Well, Chips wants a bridge for this song and we're trying to come up with it." Between the 3 of them, they finally came up with the 2 little lines. The bridge needed to complete Always on My Mind. They went downstairs and Wayne cut it immediately. Carson always used his buddies' reactions as a gauge to determine how good a new song was, and judging by Bobby Womack and Reggie Young's enthusiastic responses, Carson thought, Always on My Mind could be big. He and Moman couldn't wait to get to Nashville to play it for headman Fred Foster. Foster, however, was totally unimpressed, saying, "I don't think the world's ready for that," and refused to release it. Well, both men were livid, and by the time they got back to Memphis, Carson remembers the last thing Chip said about the whole incident. Foster's gonna rue the day that he turned this song down, because someday, Always on My Mind is going to be a massive hit. Even though Always on My Mind was released by such stars as Brenda Lee and Elvis Presley, as noted earlier, Willie Nelson had never heard of it until Johnny Christopher played it for him during sessions for the Pancho and Lefty duet album with Merle Haggard. Nelson loved the tune, but Haggard didn't quite hear it. In hindsight, the song probably wouldn't have made a good duet anyway, and they were cutting a duet album. So Haggard was probably right in that respect and hadn't even realized it. Though Merle had nixed Always on My Mind, Willie cut a solo version in his new Pedernals studio in Austin, Texas, after he and Haggard finished their Pancho and Lefty album. The brand new studio wasn't quite up to par yet, and the first tracks turned out unusable. According to session pianist Bobby Wood, it was so bad that, at first, the $70,000 piano in there sounded like a spinet, but the technicians put a lot of highs on the piano, and it ended up sounding pretty good. Nelson's wife Connie and his daughters persuaded him to make Always on My Mind the title of his new solo album, as well as the LP's first single, the biggest of Willie's entire career. It grabbed the #1 position of Billboard's country singles chart on May 8, 1982, and held it for 2 weeks. See you next time. If you love this video, don't forget like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.